ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. Saints, Chiefs. This is really what the Chiefs have become. 26-13 win over the Saints. Chiefs remain undefeated on the season. Double up the Saints in this game. Saints dropped their third consecutive game after starting out 2-0 and scoring 91 points over their first two games. 88 points. I think it was over their first two games. 47 in week 1 and 41 in week 2. Or no, I said that right. 91, 44 against Dallas, 91 in their first two games. They've looked like a shell of themselves the last 3 weeks. We'll get to the Saints. I got some interesting things to say about Derek Carr. But let's talk about the Chiefs because this was really impressive. And here's the scary thing about Kansas City. They've mastered the art of winning. It is one of the hardest things to do in professional sports, specifically the NFL, where it is a war of attrition. Injuries happen. Adjustments are being made every day. When you're at the top of the mountain, everyone's trying to knock you off. You're the game that everyone circles on their calendar. You're getting everybody's best effort every week. It's hard to stay at the top of the mountain. Yet the Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls. They're going for a historic third consecutive Super Bowl, something no team has ever done in NFL history. They've started off well at 5-0. Most people don't think they can continue this pace because of all the injuries that they've suffered. I was worried when Wanye Morris went down earlier tonight because I'm like, you can't afford another injury. But he was able to come back in the game. But here's the beauty of what the Chiefs are doing right now. Last year, and I think Troy Aikman hit the nail on the head, or it might have been Joe Buck, one of the two. I think it was Troy Aikman, because Troy be dropping some gems on your melon, man. And Troy, first of all, I got a kick out of Troy because he butchered Rashid Shaheed's name. I mean, he took that thing out back and just murdered that thing. And at the end, he didn't even give a shit. He just gave up. Me and my wife were in here dying laughing when he just butchered his name. But it's an easy name to F up, you know. I've done it multiple times, but not like Troy did it tonight. Woo, that was rough. But Troy said last year when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, they had to learn how to win defensively. Meaning the offense, for the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era, had to take a back seat to the defense, not turn it over, run the football, make timely plays, timely completions, timely Mahomes run, and just learn how to kind of blend in. The offense did. Meanwhile, the defense was the star of the show, and that had never been the case since Patrick Mahomes took over that Chiefs offense back in 2018. It just had never been the case. And the offseason objective was to get faster at receiver, to get better at receiver. And they did that. They went out and signed Hollywood Brown. I thought it was a masterful signing. Then they traded up and got Xavier Worthy, and I was like, wow. Damn. Chiefs about to be loaded again. You had Rashid Rice coming back. You still had Scott Moore. You had Nicole Hartman coming back. And so, you know, you couple that with all the tight ends. Then they drafted the kid that I loved, Wiley, out of TCU. You still have Noah Gray. You still got Travis Kelce. You still got, the running back, Isaiah Pacheco. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming back here shortly. And so you're looking at the Chiefs and you're saying, wow, they're loaded. Now, the offensive line at the tackle position wasn't great last year. It's not great this year, but they'll manage. They'll figure it out, right? They always do. And so coming into the season, I thought, I can't speak for anybody else, that they were going to retool that offense with the pieces that they had gathered And we were going to see a recreated version of the Chiefs offense from, say, 3-4 years ago with Tyreek Hill, with the guy that can flat out fly, and Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, with two guys rather that can flat out fly. This offense was going to be almost impossible to deal with. And then in the preseason, Hollywood Brown goes down. I got something to add to that here in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. But he goes down. Worthy was worthy of a first-round pick because of his speed and what he can do, and he couldn't have gone to a better place, because while he may not be ready to help you as a every down wide receiver right now, as he's continuing to learn, and I told you, Tyreek Hill was very similar in this regard when he came in the league. He was not ready to be an every down wide receiver. He was more of a gadget, special teams type guy. And in year 2, I saw the most significant jump from a special teams gadget guy receiver, type of player, to a bona fide stud number one. I've never seen anything quite like it before. And I don't know if I'll ever see anything like it again. It was an incredible jump and leap that he made. And maybe we'll see that with Xavier Worthy at some point in Kansas City. But I just figured with Hollywood Brown, he wouldn't have to be that guy, right? And, with all of the pieces that with Rashid Rice and Kelsey and Isaiah Pacheco also catching it out of the back, you wouldn't need Isaiah Worthy to do anything but be a fifth option and a gadget guy, which is what he was allowed to be in week 1. But, and again tonight, but with all the injuries, and so I started by setting the table by telling you what this offense was supposed to look like. You fast forward to week 5 tonight, Rashid Rice is more likely than not gone for the season. Hollywood Brown is gone for at least the entire regular season. Isaiah Pacheco, we don't know when he's going to be back, but he's out indefinitely. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not come back yet. And you're looking at this group and you're saying, whoa. At one point, they had this Carson Steele rookie who was a fullback as their lead tailback. Like, that's how bad it had gotten, how dark and bleak it had gotten for them at running back, until they signed Samaje Perine, and then they also signed a former Chief and Kareem Hunt. So it's been rough. They had to go out and get Juju Smith-Schuster. One thing about the Chiefs, they know how to recycle guys, right? Guys that know the system, guys that they know they can trust. They'll go and recycle a guy real quick. And that's essentially what they've done with Juju Smith-Schuster, Kareem Hunt, Mecole Hardman. All these guys were gone, brought back because they know they can trust these guys to come in, assimilate, run the system, and get the job done. And so, again, though, because of all of the changes, because of all the injuries, they've had to reshape, remold this offense. And it's feeling a lot like the last year's offense, where Mahomes doesn't have a lot of targets to get the football to. If I'm going into a Chiefs game, I'm going to stop Travis Kelce. And I'm going to now, and at least then you had Isaiah Pacheco. This year, and I don't even remember seeing Justin Watson tonight. So he might be injured too, because I don't even recall seeing him get the football at all tonight. But he can go missing. He can go on the back of a milk carton for a week or two at a time. But it's really dark right now. And the game plan tonight was beautiful, because they realized, look, man, we don't have shit at receiver. So, or at least not things we're comfortable with. Like, I didn't realize Mecole Hardman did not have a single catch the first 4 games of the season. Like, that's wild, right? But he's got to get serious reps now. And Worthy, while he's an extremely gifted, deep threat and a guy that is dangerous with the ball in his hands, he's not ready to help you as a, route running technician, get open, 3rd and 6, 8-yard route type receiver right now. He's just not that guy. And so he's not much of a help on the, first and second downs as they try to get into, manageable third down distances. So they got to go to the tight ends. So they went to 3 tight ends. They played a lot of 13 personnel tonight. They ran the football. Kareem Hunt was over 100 yards, right? They threw the ball to the tight ends a ridiculous amount of times tonight. I'd say Kelsey, this was probably his most targets of the season. My guess is Kelsey had 12 targets tonight, and Noah Gray probably had 5 or 6, right? That's a lot of targets for the tight end position. If what I just said is correct, 12 for Kelsey, 6 for Noah Gray, that's 18 targets. Mahomes threw the ball, 39 times. That's almost half of his targets, if this is in fact true. Let's take a look and see. So Kelsey had 10. Oh, shit. Noah Gray only had 2. It felt like he had more. Fortson had 1. So that's 13 targets to the tight end. Juju Smith-Schuster had 8. He was huge tonight. Mecole Hardman had 4. Worthy had 6. But Juju was huge. Of course, he had the 50-yarder that really inflated his average. But he was really good tonight, regardless. Even if you take the 50-yarder away, he still was very productive. But like I said, 13 targets, not 18, but 13 targets for the tight ends total in this game. 10 to Kelsey, 2 to Gray, 1 to Fortson, who they just brought back as well. So they're continuing to recycle guys in Kansas City. But here's the part that's dangerous. We know the defense is capable. They're not as good as they were last year, and they got away with some shit tonight. I thought there were several opportunities for penalties to be called. I myself prefer for the officials to err on the side of not throwing a flag, and they didn't tonight for both teams. So I prefer it that way. Like, if you're gonna let them play, and they did. So I had no issues with that. Their secondary isn't as good as it was a year ago. The pass rush, I think, is equal to or better than it was last year because I think Karlaftis is better than he was a season ago. So Chris Jones is still dangerous. Karlaftis, I think, is more dangerous now. And I think as a blitzer, Jamari Connor is really problematic. And I think they can get to the quarterback. Now, love the linebackers, even though Willie Gay isn't there anymore. If they could lose a linebacker, Willie Gay was the guy. But while they may not be as dominant as they were a season ago defensively, they're still good enough to win. And if you look at all of their games to this point, the one constant outside of probably the Cincinnati game, and even still in that game, the defense forced a fumble, scoop, and score. So while that probably was their least, and the maybe the Ravens game in week 1, but even that game, I thought they did some good things defensively. But that's no here nor there. They haven't given up more than the 25 points the Bengals scored in week 2. I don't think they've given up more than that this season. They held the Chargers down to less than 20, 10 points, I believe it was last week. The Saints to 13 this week. They've been really good defensively, and they know how to make winning plays. Mahomes didn't throw a touchdown pass tonight, but he threw for over 300 yards. If you didn't watch this game, you see the score, you go, oh, okay, ho-hum, another win. They could have scored 40 tonight if they would have had success in the red zone. Let's go and look at the red zone. You know I love looking at the red zone numbers. They were awful in the red zone with the Chiefs. 2 of 7 in this game were the Chiefs. They were walking the ball up and down the field. They were very uncharacteristically sloppy in the red zone. You had some penalties that negate, one penalty negated the touchdown. You had another penalty kind of push them back and kind of put a halt to a drive. You had the interception. You had a missed field goal, and then they just weren't themselves. But they haven't been great in the red zone all season, as you heard Aikman and Buck kind of document that during the telecast. So this is their new norm, right? They don't have the playmakers. They don't have the guys that scare you other than Worthy and Kelsey. They don't really have anybody because they're all injured. But this is the thing that's scary. is they've mastered the art of winning. So they're going to find a way. This week, it may be the tight ends in the run game. Next week, it might be Xavier Worthy and the receivers. The week after that, it might be the running backs that get you, or a confluence of the three. The week after that, it might just be all defense. They're going to find a way. It might be some Mahomes magic the week after that, but they know how to win. And here's the scary part. Hollywood Brown is not out for the entire season. He's out for the entire regular season. So what if you're Kansas City and you find a way to get to the number 1 seed and you're able to rest your starters in week 18 and Hollywood Brown is ready to start revving up the engine in week 18. And so you practice him in 18. You got the bye week. You practice him in the bye week again. And then by divisional round weekend, he's ready to come back and contribute. They said that he could be back by the postseason. That could change everything for them offensively, right? So while it feels like they're struggling and they may not get, at some point, they're going to get Isaiah Pacheco back. They could get Hollywood Brown back by season's end. And we saw this happen with Rashid Rice last year. Rashid Rice started slow, and as the season continued to progress, Rashid Rice continued to progress. And by the time we got to the playoffs, Rashid Rice was their best wide receiver by miles. And he took over at points of the postseason last year. Who knows what Xavier Worthy could be by the time we get to the postseason, right? He could be a totally different animal, totally different receiver, right? And so I'm just saying, if they can continue to find ways to get it done, doesn't have to be pretty, just gritty, and most importantly, a dub. And we know the Chiefs are among the best in the business of finding ways to win. All they got to do is find a way to get to January, find a way to get to that number 1 seed, get the first round bye, and come off that bye, and you probably will have Hollywood Brown back. I heard even December he could be back by. But if I'm the Chiefs, I'm not pushing it. I'll wait till January. Get him back for the postseason. Isaiah Pacheco's back. All of a sudden, this offense looks a lot different. Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be back here. I think he might be back after the bye is what I'm hearing. So this could be a totally different team. And then Juju Smith-Schuster can still play, as you saw tonight. He's not what he once was, but he's still a hell of a possession receiver. You can still throw it to him on 3rd and 6. As he showed tonight. Still got Travis Kelce. All they need is that one receiver that they can rely on at all 3 levels. Hollywood Brown can be that. They don't have that. That's what Rashid Rice, he wasn't a deep threat, but he could handle the first 2 levels with ease. And if you slept on him, he can get you on the 3rd level. The Bengals found that out in week number 2, right? Got behind Cameron Taylor-Britt, scored a touchdown on a deep ball. So he could hurt you on all 3 levels. They don't have a 3-level receiver right now. Hollywood Brown comes back, they would have a 3-level wide receiver again. That would fit in nicely with the underneath possession receiver that is Juju Smith-Schuster. You got Travis Kelce working underneath as well, right? So now a lot of attention is being paid to those guys. And now here comes Hollywood Brown being able to take the top off. Here comes Xavier Worthy. He goes screaming up the field. You know he's going to take 2-3 defenders with him. Here comes Hollywood Brown, another guy with some speed. And now he's one-on-one. So it's really just survival mode for the Chiefs. And I don't know if I've seen a team this injury-riddled and ravaged this early in the season maintain a perfect record. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. I literally just told you that they were starting a rookie left tackle to start the season off. They benched him and put the guy in that was supposed to be the starting tackle but got injured in training camp, and so he wasn't ready to start the season. So they put him in. You've got Hollywood Brown, who you signed in free agency, out for the entire regular season. You got Rashee Rice, who's your leading receiver last year. It was by far and away your best receiver and your leading receiver this year, out for the season. You've got your best running back, Isaiah Pacheco, who you could argue was one of the biggest reasons why you won the Super Bowl last year, after the defense, of course, out indefinitely. And you look around and you say, what the hell is going on here? And yet, here they are, 5-0, heading to their bye week, finding ways to win every single week. And like I said, eventually, Pacheco will come back. Eventually, Hollywood Brown could come back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire can be added to this mix, and I think he will be after the bye week. So help is on the way potentially. And all the while they're going through all of this and thinking about whether they need to make a trade at the deadline, this, that, and the third. While all of this is going on, they're still winning. And tonight was another example of that. Run the football, 13 personnel, throwing to the tight ends. They went a whole quarter, I want to say a quarter and some change without throwing the ball to a receiver before they finally threw the football to a receiver. It's crazy. But this was another one of those gritty Chiefs, find a way to get it done type performances. And they were sloppy with their handles. That's the crazy part, is they were uncharacteristically sloppy tonight. End zone interception, missed Harrison Butker field goal. I think there was a fumble in here. I felt like they turned the ball over like 2 or 3 times in this game. Let's see. Nope, they only had that one turnover. Felt like they turned it over again, but they didn't. Yeah, this was just a sloppy game from Kansas City in terms of finishing drives, putting the Saints away. Just felt like they were giving the Saints life for no reason. Saints probably should have been blown out of this game long time ago. But at the end of the day, they got it done. The defense held the Saints to 220 yards of total offense. Saints were 0 of 2 on 4th downs, 4 of 10 on 3rd downs. I mean, that's how you get it done. I mean, they suffocated them defensively and put up 460 yards of total offense, moved the football up and down the field. I bet you the time of possession was just crazy in this game because it felt like the Saints never had the football. 40-20. Yikes. They doubled them up on the scoreboard and they doubled them up in time of possession. I mean, it was a total dominant effort. It just, the scoreboard doesn't really represent that, but if you watched it, it felt like that, right? So now the Chiefs are 5-0. They head into their bye week. Right now, they feel like the best team in the AFC. And until somebody does something about it, and I know the Texans are only 1 game removed from, having the same record as the Chiefs. They're the only 4-1 team in the AFC, by the way. So, and the Texans could easily be 2-3 right now, right? Easily could have dropped a couple of games that they won this season. So when you look at it from that perspective, and you can say the same thing about Kansas City, to be honest with you, right? Probably should have lost the Cincinnati game, easily could have lost the Ravens game, but they didn't. And so you look at the Chiefs right now, is anybody better in the conference? I don't think so. No one's proven that to me yet. Meanwhile, if you're the Saints, I don't have much to say about the overall performance tonight. It's really more of a referendum on Derek Carr. And I hate to do the 4 Carr this way, but this is a necessary evil here. This game, to me, embodied everything that is Derek Carr and is a microcosm of his entire NFL career. Follow me on this one. One of the things that I've learned about Derek Carr over the years, me and my buddy joked about it all the time because my buddy is a Raiders fan. So, the 4 Carr was a big deal for a number of years. when he was with Vegas. It was always a topic of discussion, a hot topic of discussion every year, because it always felt like he was never good enough to not be questioned as the starter. Oh, they got to find better. They're going to trade Derek Carr. They were always looking for something better. It felt like every year, Derek Carr's name would come up in the offseason as a trade target, or, are the Raiders going to re-sign him, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, it's crazy talk. They're not going to just let him walk. But one of the things we learned very early on in his career is Derek Carr is contact averse. He does not like getting hit. And when I say that, who likes getting hit? Nobody likes getting hit, right? So what are you talking about, Louie T? What quarterback wants to be hit? No quarterback wants to be hit, but he's literally afraid of getting hit. It's a big difference, right? There's not wanting to get hit and then being physically afraid to get hit, and you're willing to do anything with the football, including give it to the other team so that you don't get hit. I want you to watch Derek Carr's mannerisms when there's pressure. Watch how he discards the football, right? Throws the ball into the ground like a little B word, right? If he's under duress and he sees a guy running in front of him, he'll throw it at his feet. If it's a screen, he'll throw it down at their feet, get out of there, right? Duck away from the contact. Don't hit me, don't touch me, right? There's pressure, and this play just is the epitome of Derek Carr, right? There's pressure. He doesn't want to get hit. He starts drifting. Instead of throwing the ball out of bounds, which is what a smart veteran NFL quarterback would do in that situation, he heaved. This is a good drive the Saints were on to start the game. And first, let me just say this too. While I'm on a tangent, let me just go off on this quick tangent. I will never understand the rationale behind going on the road, especially going on the road and winning the toss and electing to receive the opening kickoff, unless you're playing a front running team. That is the only time I will allow that thought process to permeate and that methodology to be utilized, is if you're playing a front runner, like the Ravens, like the Cowboys in particular, teams like that. You can take their souls from them early in a ball game if you jump them, right? If you jump them early, you can steal their heart, because those are front-running teams. They play best when they have a lead and they have confidence. If you get on them early, you can deflate their confidence and you can get on them big, right? That's why the Ravens don't win in the playoffs. It's why Dallas lost to Green Bay, and we've seen them lose countless other games like the San Francisco game last year, where they get their asses whooped. The Saints game this year is another example. You jump on Dallas early and they will fold. The Baltimore game from this year, right? There's countless examples of Dallas getting jumped on early and they quit, because that's who they are. Now, they didn't quit against Baltimore this year. That was actually, if you're a Cowboys fan, refreshing to see that they actually storm back, because that's not normally what happens in that situation. They usually fold up the tent and say, hey, we'll get them next time. Let's go get them next week. But I will allow it when you're playing a team like that. You're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you really think scoring on the opening possession is really going to knock the Chiefs off kilter and they're going to go, whoa, what just happened? We can't respond. They scored an opening possession touchdown. Where's the psychological sense in that? You need to wash your face and get your mind right. Anyway, this is the thing that bothers me with Derek Carr, is he doesn't learn from past mistakes, and he makes the same mistakes over and over again. And he's one of those guys that when you make a mistake as a receiver, he's showing you up on the field. He's doing all of these gestures and, doing all of that extra shit. And then he's always making a blunder. That first possession should not have ended in an interception. What the hell was he doing there? But that's such a Derek Carr play. Oh, I'm under duress. hot potato, I don't want this football. Let me get rid of it. And instead of throwing it out of bounds, I've seen him do this before. Just throw the bitch up for grabs. Double coverage, 30 yards down the field when you could have just thrown the bitch out of bounds. No, I'm going to throw it into double coverage and hope for the best. Pick. Any amount of pressure. I'm getting rid of football. Because I don't want to get hit. And you know why he doesn't want to get hit? Because he's fragile. Every time he does get hit, something goes wrong. And if nothing else, I got to give him credit for knowing who he is. Be who you are, right? Don't try to be somebody else. He knows he can't take punishment. Every time he gets hit, something goes wrong, it feels like. Last year, in and out of the lineup. Didn't finish 3 or 4 games last year due to injuries. Jameis Winston had to come in. Finish a bunch of games last year. Didn't finish this game tonight. That was a great throw, by the way. And that's the Derek Carr dilemma, right? Every now and again, he'll drop a dime in there. The throw to Shaheed was a dime. But the miss to Shaheed down the right sideline was because he was afraid to get hit. Instead of standing in there and saying, all right, pressure's coming, but I got one-on-one, and I know my guy's going to win. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm probably going to say it a bunch more. Rashid Shaheed has turned into the new Deshaun Jackson. Who's better at tracking the deep ball and going and getting it in the NFL than Rashid Shaheed right now? I'll wait. And it ain't Tyreek Hill. I'll wait. Who's better at going and getting the deep ball? All you got to do is give that man a chance. He'll go get it. Or at least draw a flag going and get it. And you didn't even give him a chance because you were so preoccupied with pressure and not getting hit that you couldn't get enough on the football. He couldn't even plant and come back to the ball to draw a flag. It was so short. And then on the 4th down, he finally hangs in the pocket, takes a shot, and obviously this is why he doesn't like getting hit, because he's fragile. He gets hit and gets hurt. And that was a dime. And that is the Derek Carr dilemma. He can toss you a dime. He can play well for stretches at a time. This man was in a serious finalist for the MVP in 2016 before he hurt his knee. He can play football. But how many times have I seen Derek Carr running by the sideline, stick the ball out with the wrong hand, trying to get a first down, trying to get past the pylon, and the ball get knocked out of his hands inbounds? How many times I've seen Derek Carr do that? At least 3 or 4 times. And they're like, bro, when are you going to learn? When are you going to smarten up? How many times I see him throw boneheaded interceptions where he could have just thrown the football away? How many times have I seen him contact averse, duck out of the pocket, throw the ball down at somebody's feet, and get out of dodge so he doesn't get contacted? You can't win anything of substance with Derek Carr as your quarterback. Nothing. And it's the reason that every year he was in Vegas, except for 1 or 2 years, I thought they had something with John Gruden. Like, Gruden loved Derek Carr, and I think he was a perfect fit for Gruden's offense. He could have run the shit out of that to a T, but obviously Gruden got run out of the league, and it is what it is. But outside of that small window early in his career and that little pocket with John Gruden, every year there were Derek Carr rumors because he's one of those dudes. I liken him to Tua. He's one of those dudes that he can play well enough for you to win some games, make the playoffs. There's a reason Derek Carr has only played in 1 playoff game in his career. 1. That's it. 2016, he should have played in the playoffs that year because he took the Raiders to the playoffs, but he got hurt in the second to last game against, I want to say it was Carolina. Might have been Indianapolis. One of the two. It was one of them blue teams. I'm gonna say it was Carolina, final answer. And he got hurt. I'm trying to think of the quarterback that had to come in. It was a Michigan State quarterback. Boy, was he ass. I can't remember his name, but he was from Michigan State, and he was super doo-doo. But they lost to the Texans. I do remember that. And so he never played in the playoffs until the 2021 season with the Raiders, which I could argue was one of his best seasons, and that was with John Gruden. And Gruden got fired that year, obviously, or resigned. And Rich Bisaccia took over, and that's who should have remained the head coach of the Raiders. Connor Cook, thank you, Casper the Barbarian. Connor mother effing Cook. What a bum he was. Connor Cook started that playoff game and was horrendous. Thank you, because I was busting my brain and I couldn't think of him. But he's only played in one playoff game. That 21 year when Gruden got bounced and Rich Bisaccia took over, and he was the perfect man for the job. And instead, Mark Davis wanted the big shiny toy, so he went after Josh McDaniels, and that was an epic fail and a disaster. And it seems like every time an owner does that, right? Because the interim coach is never good enough, right? Same thing happened with Steve Wilkes in Carolina. The interim coach is never good enough. So he goes out and he goes and gets the guy that's at Nebraska now, right? Pays him a boatload of money. I think he made him one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL. Got him from Matt Rule, got him from Baylor, wooed him away from college, brought him here, and it was discovered that he was a college coach. And we get that all the time. College coach comes to the NFL and realizes this shit ain't college. That rah-rah speech bullshit that you can recycle over and over again because every 2 years you're getting a new cast of guys coming into you can say the same shit over and over again and it's brand new every time. That shit don't work in the NFL. Matt Rule's a college guy, and that's okay. That's okay. He turns programs around, not NFL teams. But one playoff game. They showed a statistic tonight. The man has thrown for 40,000 yards in his NFL career after the night. Only 25 quarterbacks. All of these quarterbacks that we've seen in the league, only 25 have thrown for 40,000 yards, and Derek Carr is one of them. And the man has only went to the playoffs once. Let that shit sink in. That's not on accident. He is who he is. He's either turning it over, making a hell of a throw, playing his ass off, being contact averse and running from contact, which leads him to do stupid shit, or he's getting hurt when he finally does receive contact. So you're in quite the dilemma with Derek Carr, which is why every year Raiders fans always were looking for an upgrade. It's the same thing I feel about Tua. You can only go so far with a guy like Tua. Tua's not contact adverse, but maybe he should be at this point. But every time he gets hit, it seems like he gets hurt. He can only do so much on offense. Not going to go where you want to go with Tua. Right? But tonight was another one of those nights. It was a microcosm. Too many misses from Derek Carr. Then he drops a dime. Receiver doesn't catch it, which sucks because that was a hell of a throw. Too many times getting spooked in the pocket, missing receivers, throwing it into the ground. Like, every time there's pressure, doesn't mean the screen is dead and you don't have to throw it. You just ground it in, And a lot of those times when he throws it in the ground, the screen isn't open or that short route isn't open. He's just trying to get rid of it. But there are times, I've seen many of screens where you say, no. You throw the screen, he catches it. Guy breaks a tackle or some blocker comes out of nowhere and picks that guy off. And all of a sudden, a screen that looked like there was way too much traffic for you to complete, all of a sudden pops for 30. He doesn't even give the shit a chance. Just throw this bitch in the ground. Because I had contact. I had pressure on me. I'm panicking, so I'm going to throw it in the ground. It ain't got shit to do with you and how the screen being set up. I got pressure. I'm not comfortable, so I'm going to ground it. Thanks, Derek. Tonight was a microcosm of Derek Carr. Now, and generally, he doesn't get hurt seriously. Just hurt enough to not finish a game, because that's the Derek Carr way. He'll be ready to go next week. He won't be 100%. He'll play well enough for them to win, but they'll lose. That's the Derek Carr way. Then he'll get hot. He'll have a stretch where, oh shit, Derek Carr in the month of November, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's thrown for over 1,200 yards. And you're like, man, the Saints are 3-0. He's lighting it up. And next thing you know, the Saints are right there in the playoff race. That's Derek Carr. That's Derek Carr for you. Anyway, I digress. Tonight was another one of those nights, and it went exactly the way that I thought it was going to go. So let's get to Inside the Odds, brought to you by BetUS. Then after that, we'll get to the comment section and see what you guys are talking about.
Inside the Odds.
Looking for a new book this season? BetUS has got you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year. And here's the big kicker. Sign up and get 150% sign up bonus on up to a $2,000 deposit on your first deposit. And then on the next 2 deposits, 125% sign up bonus when you use the promo code YouTube 150. So let's take a look at the odds for tonight's game, brought to you by BetUS. BetUS had the Chiefs as a 5-point favorite. The Saints were getting 5 tonight. And you kind of felt like this was an easy one for the Chiefs as long as they stayed out of their own way. The problem was they didn't stay out of their own way. Missed field goal, red zone woes, turnover in the red zone. They allowed the Saints to stay alive in this game, did the Chiefs. But ultimately, when it was all said and done, they covered the spread, beat them by 13 points. The over-under total was 43.5. I think what did the final score end up being anyway? 26-13, so 39 points. I think I had 40 points in this game. I didn't think they would hit the over because I didn't see the Saints scoring enough points. And the Chiefs haven't been all that impressive offensively themselves. So I think I just missed the point total. I had 40. And if Blake Groupie had made a damn extra point, it would have hit 40 on the head. But I digress. Let's get to, that was pretty easy. Under on the total and take the Chiefs and the points. It's pretty simple. These were the specials. These are what I'm most interested in. So these were some of the Monday night specials on BetUS. And I always urge you to go and check out betus.com and their specials, especially on Monday nights. I love the Monday night specials. They have specials on Sundays. Every day they have specials for various sports. Obviously, we're about to be in the most rich time for sports here in the next month or so when the NBA and the puck drops. Puck drops Tuesday, I believe. NBA gets kicked off a little bit later on in the month. And all of a sudden, you'll have playoff baseball, NFL football, regular season hockey, and basketball. What a time to be alive, right? So they'll have all kinds of opportunities for you on the site. And I love the Monday specials, though, in particular, because they get really specific. And I've said this to you as well. Check out their prop builder. You some of these props that I'm about to go through, you can build some of these props yourself. You don't have to rely on BetUS to put up a special for you. You can create your own special by hitting their prop builder. But here were some of the specials that intrigued me. Patrick Mahomes, 2 interceptions thrown on Monday night tonight. If you bet yes, 300 plus 300 on the money line. Mahomes threw 1 interception tonight. 1 interception. He could have thrown a second. You were this close if you put down $10 to win your 30, right? Derek Carr, 2 interceptions. That obviously, I was shocked that the Mahomes throwing 2 interceptions and Derek Carr throwing 2 interceptions were the same amount on the money line. The odds were the same. That's a bit skeptical to me. I was like, you're telling me the likelihood of Mahomes throwing 2 interceptions is the same as Derek Carr throwing 2 interceptions? I was like, nah. Both of them only threw 1, if I'm not mistaken, though. I don't think Carr threw a second interception. Let me check. I could be wrong, and he could have thrown 2 interceptions. But I think both teams only turned it over once, and they were both interceptions by the quarterbacks. Yeah, Carr threw 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So neither one of them threw 2 interceptions. But I would have thought the likelihood, the most likely of the scenarios would have been Carr doing it, not Mahomes. So I was shocked to see that Mahomes' money line wasn't a little bit more, right? But that's no here nor there. Mahomes and Derek Carr combined for 600 pass yards. Now, there was also a special where those two combined for 500 yards. Now, I didn't do the 500 because the money line, it was only like, I think, plus 250, something like that. It wasn't enough money for me because it was very plausible that Mahomes throws for 275, Carr throws for 240, and that's 500. That's not hard. 600 is tough because you're going to need somebody to go over 300, and either both quarterbacks go over 300 is the easiest way to do it. But generally, you're not going to get both quarterbacks throwing over 300. So you're going to need one quarterback to go 340, which Mahomes did, right? And then you're going to need the other guy to go 270, right? Something like that. What did we get in this game? Carr went 165. So there you go. You're dead in the water, just like that, right? Mahomes went 331. He did his part, but Carr didn't hold up his end of the bargain, throwing for only 165 yards in this game. And, you know, part of the issue is they're so hot and cold with Chris Olave. Like, I watched that Eagles game earlier in the season. Like, Chris Olave was killing the Eagles, and they didn't throw it enough. They said the Saints have run the football the most of any team in the league this season. And I get it. Clint Kubiak comes from a running, football family. It's what they do. But at some point, you got to lean on some of these guys that are talented, other than a Shaheed bomb off play action fake. Like, Chris Olave is a hell of a receiver. How many targets did he have tonight? Felt like he only had like 4 or 5 targets. I could be wrong. Chris Olave had 4 targets tonight, 2 catches, 10 yards. That's crazy talk. Meanwhile, Rashid Shaheed had 9 targets. Now, he's a beast and he can get open deep, but still, Alvin Kamara, 8 targets. Like, Chris Olave should be right up there with those two in targets. And it's too many weeks where Olave's numbers look like that. You telling me Chris Olave can't be as effective as an Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit? Because their skill sets are very similar. A little bit different body type. Olave's a little bit more lean up and down, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's a little bit more compact. Olave's faster, but Olave's tough as nails. He's just as good a route runner and a technician as Amon-Ra St. Brown is. He's got just as good of hands as Amon-Ra. You telling me he can't get 12, 13 targets a game? He can't have 102 catches at the end of the season? Sure he can, but they're not getting him enough opportunities. Anyway, I bring that up because if you look all the way at the bottom, Travis Kelce and Chris Olave combined for 200 yards receiving. Obviously, Olave didn't do his part. I think Kelce, like I said, he was very active tonight, but I don't think it resulted in a ton of yards. Let's see, did Kelce even approach 100? 70 for Kelce. So obviously, I thought that there was a chance that Kelce and Olave could have a big night, right? Olave goes for 130. Kelce goes for the same 70 that he got, and boom, you're at 200, right? Or Kelce goes for 82 yards. Olave goes for 126, or Kelce goes for 88 and Olave goes for 126. Boom, you got your 200 yards, right? But No, that didn't happen, obviously. So that was 500 on the money line. Chris Jones to record 2 sacks on Monday. That was an interesting one that piqued my attention because it's nothing for Chris Jones to show up on a Monday night and get 2 sacks. But I said, you're playing Derek Carr. And if Derek Carr can avoid a sack, Derek Carr's going to avoid a sack. I think Derek Carr might have been sacked, 2 times tonight, maybe? 3 max. But Derek ain't having that shit. He'll get rid of it. He'll throw that bitch in the ground before 1 sack for 8 yards. Derek Carr gonna throw that bitch in the ground before he lets you hit him. So trust to believe it was gonna be tough for for Chris Jones to get 2 sacks tonight, and he didn't. But I just thought these were interesting props for tonight's game. Some of these specials off of BetUS. Once again, this stream is powered by BetUS, and so is Inside the Odds. So let's get to the comment section quickly, see what you guys are talking about. All right. Andre Brown, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB mob. You know what to do. Show Andre some love. Welcome to the squad, Andre Brown. Mario Delsit, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Mario, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Lou, hope the fam is well. Likewise. Can't believe we're in first place we are first place in scoring. Feels like the football guys doing a 360 on us. Not a 360, a 180, Mario. A 180. HTTC, like and subscribe, fam. Y'all heard the man. If you haven't already hit the like button, please do so. Over 170 of you out there and only 53 likes. We can do so much better. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting on? Not only should you subscribe for more great content, but turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. All right. So, yeah, first place in scoring. Highest scoring offense in the league. And 114 points in a 3-week span will do that for you. And, while you've only played 5 games. And it's not like we were mincemeat in the first 3, right? 21 against the Giants, scoring on all 7 of our possessions in that game. Obviously, they were all field goals, but still, it was a precursor of things to come, right? Same thing with that Bucs game. I remember saying this the day after when I had a chance to process everything, kind of watch it back and kind of go through the game in my mind again and watch it. I was like, we had the ball, I think, for 8 possessions, and we had legit scoring opportunities on 6 of them. Missed 2 field goals, scored 3 touchdowns, and missed Terry on the deep ball and punted on that possession. So you had 6 legit scoring opportunities in 8 possessions. Like, that was week 1 with Jaden Daniels. So, even though those performances left a lot to be desired, they were literally foreshadowing, and they were previewing things to come down the road. They were just showing us, hey, this is what it could be. Now we just got to turn these possessions into touchdowns. And then we started doing it. Next thing you know, 38, 42, and 34. So, yeah. And the crazy part is we're going to be one of the highest scoring offenses in the league this year. Like, I don't see us falling off of a cliff. Obviously, I'm not going to say it, but if things continue in the direction it's going, which I have no reason to believe that it won't, we'll be one of the highest scoring teams in the league. I don't know if we'll be the highest scoring team, but right now it feels like we will be, because I don't really see anybody stopping our, there are only a select few teams that I think have a good enough defensive plan and players to give us fits and to slow us down to a point where, we're not looking like ourselves. There's only a handful of defenses that I think can do that. So, and most of those defenses aren't on our schedule. Maybe 1 or 2 of them. Like Baltimore has a chance, even though I think we can move the ball on them. They could come out like they did against Buffalo and stifle us. They've got that capability. I don't think they will, but they have that capability. But it's really just the Bears, on the schedule that I look at and say, no, that's a legit defense right there. That's a legit defense. That could be problematic. Because I think we can move the ball on the Steelers. Now, by the time we get to them, will they have all their pass rushers back, all that good stuff? Maybe. But I think we can move the ball on them too. So, JLG, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Happy Victory Monday. Yes, indeed. Same to you. Likewise. What do you think of us wearing our all whites with the black helmets like the Saints did today? Black jersey with white pants. I don't like the idea of the black helmets with the white jerseys. First of all, though black on the Saints helmet is a part of the color scheme for the Saints overall. So it fits, right? It's a little different, obviously, but it fits. Our black helmets have the yellow numbers. Our white jerseys have no yellow on them really at all whatsoever. None. So it's a stark contrast. The black helmets only go with the black uniforms. You can't try to play around with that combination. And I don't even think I like the idea of white pants. What you also got to keep in mind is that our white pants don't go with our black tops. You'd have to have some white pants specifically. Like, I think our white pants has like the little stripe down the side with the commander, with that, burgundy. I don't even know what color that shit is, but that like a little gray and, maybe a little splash of black, but it's too much going on. You can't put on our pants with the top, the black top. You have to wear black on black with the black helmets. Like that's the only ensemble that goes together with that helmet. I don't even think I would like the white pants with the black tops. Now, I would be open to the gold pants with but then you start getting into that Steelers territory. And I think that's when you start going a little bit too far off the rails. You're getting too far away from who we are from a color scheme perspective. It's bad enough you added black in, which I don't mind. I'm not an old man, get off my lawn, traditionalist to the point where I'm like, no, we can't have any other new colors, but you don't want to get too far away from who we are. We're not black and gold. It's not our color scheme. So, all blacks as an alternate, cool. But for me, you got to keep it either white with burgundy bottoms, white tops, burgundy bottoms, all whites, all Bergs, which I'm open to going back to the all Bergs at some point, because now I think we could spin that narrative of we can't win with the all Bergs on. It's crispy, it's clean, and now with this new group, I think we can freak it and win. But I'm feeling the burgundy tops, gold bottoms right now. I'm really digging that right now. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, how about the Legion of Zoom as a name for the offense? No. First of all, no. We're not doing Legion of Zoom. That's one. Two, I don't even know if I want a name for this offense. I just want it to just continue to be dynamic. I think that is it. We don't need to nickname the offense. Let's just keep scoring a bunch of points. That's all I'm trying to do. You probably thought you ate with that one too, didn't you, Abdallah? Oh yeah, I'm a killer with this one, the Legion of Zoom. Hey, go ahead, man. Black Al B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Black Al B writes, what it do, Lou? What's going on, Black Al B? Who's 5-0 is more real, KC or Minis? You know the answer to that. I don't even know why you asked that. I don't even know why you asked that question. So, who's 5-0 is more real? The two-time defending Super Bowl champions with one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen in Patrick Mahomes and one of the greatest defensive coordinators we've ever seen in Steve Spagnuolo, they're 5-0. Or the 5-0 Minnesota Vikings with a really good defensive coordinator, right? A really good defensive coordinator. And why am I forgetting his damn name? Well, a really good defensive coordinator. And Sam Darnold at quarterback. Like, come on, man. Seriously. I mean, now I will say this. Up until week 5, your wins have felt a little bit more like they've had a little bit more substance. Like it was a little bit more sustainable, but that's what the Chiefs do. They win, right? Flores, thank you. Abel Ambrosio. Brian Flores. Really good defensive coordinator. But it's still Sam Darnold at the end of the day. And that game was rocky on Sunday morning. That was not a great performance, but you won. And again, that's all that matters. 2 weeks from now, most of the people won't even remember what that game looked like. They'll just know you won. So just get the win. You'll figure out the rest later. You'll clean up the mistakes that were made. But that was not a great performance by any stretch of the imagination. So somebody's going to get you here shortly. I can tell you that right now. Who's your next game anyway? I'm going to tell you when you're going to lose. I'm about to look it up right now. I'm glad. I thought I was going to jinx you because my guy, Nick at Night, was like, Lou, you got to stop disrespecting us and you got to pick us. I was like, don't you worry. I'm picking y'all ass this week. I'm picking y'all. I said, you're going to regret it too because now you're going to lose because I'm messed around and picked your ass. But you found a way to win. I thought I had jinxed you because it was ugly. Yikes. Let's see. Your next game is against the Lions. You have a bye week. You come off the bye and you play the Lions. Then you lose, then you play the Rams. Then the Colts, the Jack. What kind of a schedule is this? Oh my God, you might be the number 1 seed in the NFC with this schedule. This is ridiculous. The only hope we have as Commanders fans is that your division does a number on you. I mean, listen to this. Lions after the bye. Obviously, that's going to be a tough game. That's at home. Then the Rams in LA. Then the Colts at home. Then the Jags on the road. Then home then at Tennessee. Home at the Bears. Is that 3 road games in a row? Okay, so y'all are away from home for a while there. Then you're home for the Cardinals, home for the Falcons, home for the Bears, so they give it right back to you. 3 in a row on the road, 3 in a row at home. On the road at Seattle, home for Green Bay, and on the road at Detroit to finish up. So if the division don't get you, I didn't realize, maybe I should have because you played the Texans already. I didn't realize you were playing the AFC South. That's a very, very doable schedule. Very doable. But of course, the Chiefs 5-0 start is more real. They won the Super Bowl the last 2 years. What kind of question is that? But I think yours is real too. Like, I don't think yours is a fluke. You know, you beat some good teams. I don't know what San Francisco is on right now, but when you beat them, they were still the 49ers. Like, I'm not going to discount what they are now. Like, people love to do that. Team ends up being trash. Part of the reason they end up being trash is because you beat them. If you would have lost to them, that would have gave them confidence and they would have been a better team. You see it in college football all the time. It's one of the things that pisses me off. You beat a team that's ranked, so their rank falls. Now they lost confidence. They lose to some other team. When I beat them, they were the 7th team in the nation. Don't penalize me because after I beat them, they proved to be trash. They might not have been trash if I didn't beat them. Give me my credit for beating them when they were good. You beat Houston. You beat San Francisco. The Giants aren't half bad. And you made them look really, really bad. right? Gotta give credit where credit is due. Went to Green Bay. The Packers are no slouch. Beat them. So both of your 5-0 starts are real. Theirs is realer because they're the two-time Super Bowl defending champions with Patrick Mahomes under center and one of the greatest offensive play calls we've ever seen in Andy Reid, most creative for sure, and one of the best defensive coordinators we've ever seen in Steve Spagnuolo. You don't have a bad play caller yourself with Kevin O'Connell. You have a damn good defensive coordinator in Brian Flores, but you still got Sam Darnold. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you thought Kirk Cousins was bad in situations, wait, or as you like to call them, Kirk nephews, wait till you see what good old Sam I see Ghost Darnold does for you when shit gets real. Shauna Gang, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, hey, Lou, did you watch LB's video? No, I didn't know he put out a video. Oh, yeah. The one that you talked about. Yeah, I watched that. So, Shauna, let me tell you, I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was as bad as you made it seem. Some people, I think my guy Twin D, I think it was Twin D or somebody else. I think it was Twin D. He said that it was hurting him, but he gave us credit. And I felt that way. He's not ready to crown our ass. You want to crown our ass? Crown him. He's not ready to do that. He's not ready to crown us. And that's fine. But he did acknowledge that we were the best team in the division. I thought he wasn't going to give us a grade at first. He literally said, I got to get a Commanders an A in the video, cut off like that. Right. So, but he said it, gave us an A, gave them and the Cowboys both D's. He even gave the Giants a higher grade than the two of them right now. So he gave us credit. He didn't want to go too far, but he gave us credit. Spence Collis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Spence writes, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. We look better than Kansas City and the Saints, or am I crazy? No, you're crazy. Yeah. We look better than the Saints. Like Kansas City is a different animal because they've mastered the art of winning. That's on some next level sensei type shit. We just the understudy. We a pupil right now. We trying to learn the ways of winning. We looking at the Chiefs and we studying them and they find ways to win. Like if they don't have their fastball or their changeup, they still know how to get you out. They'll still find a way to get you out. It might not be pretty, but it's going to be effective. We still trying to figure that out. We still trying to figure out what does it look like when the offense ain't clicking, the defense don't like. We still trying to figure that out. Because right now, we've figured out how to win despite the defense. What happens when the offense ain't clicking though? We ain't had one of them games, and when the offense won't scoring in week number 1, obviously you saw what happened, but that was week 1. That feels like an eternity ago. Jaden's a much different quarterback. Defense is a lot different now too, but we're more exciting than the Chiefs. Yeah, sure. Right now, we're more exciting. Mahomes is crazy too. He did some shit tonight where I'm like, bro, what the F? That dude is amazing. Mario Delsic, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Lou, my dude, tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, let me hear it. If we win by any chance against the Ravens or put up a real good fight, should the league be heads up because we coming? I don't think you can celebrate a close loss anymore. A close loss would have been cool 2 weeks ago when we didn't know what we were capable of these last 2 weeks, blowing out the Cardinals and the Browns. Coming off the Bengals game, it felt, for some, it probably felt like a fluke. Oh, wow, that was crazy. I knew right then and there that wasn't no fluke. there was too much adversity in that game for it to be an accident. You know, I've seen fluky wins by this organization, like the Seattle win back in 2017 when half the squad was injured and we had 2 offensive linemen that started in that game that had just gotten there 3 days ago. Yeah, that's a fluky win. With Josh Dotson making a diving catch down to the 1. That's a fluky win. I've seen plenty of those. There wasn't nothing fluky about what we did in Cincinnati. And to follow it up with the 2 blowout victories thereafter, we're legit now. We don't need the Ravens game to spell that out. Now, if you go to Baltimore and you get your doors blown off, that's going to cool some people's jets because that's going to revert back to that initial conversation of, oh, you ain't play nobody, this, that, and the third. You go in there, this is all that going in there and being competitive does, is it lets everybody know that despite what you might think about our schedule, we can play with anybody. Doesn't matter who it is. The Ravens game is going to validate us, right? If you haven't given us the stamp of approval yet, you're holding out, this Ravens game is what you need to get the stamp of approval. That's how I see this game. If you're a believer, then you believe already. But if you're not, and you holding out hope that we not that team, or you still like on the fence and you need to see it, the Ravens game is what's going to push you over the top. Now, a close loss to somebody like that who needs to see it, doesn't believe it, play somebody better, that might validate it for them, but you're not going to move the needle the way that you want unless you beat the Ravens. You want that type of respect? You want people to be talking about this team as being one of the best. You go to Baltimore, I told you when we beat Cincinnati, that changed everything. Changed everything. And hasn't it though? Right? Now, and I said this immediately after the game, you beat Baltimore and it changes everything again. Because now you go from, hey, I think Washington can win the NFC East to, I think Washington's the best team in the NFC, to, I think Washington could be one of the best teams in football. The record says that right now. There's only 2 5-0 teams. There's only 2 4-1 teams. One in each conference. 5-0 Minnesota and 4-1 Washington in the NFC, 5-0 Kansas City, 4-1 Houston in the AFC. That's it. That's all. So our record says right now that we're one of the best teams in football. But for some, oh, you beat Cleveland and Cincinnati and Arizona and the Giants, and you ain't beat nobody with a winning record. Okay, touche. Here's a chance to change that. Here's a chance to change that. So, yeah, this Ravens game could change a lot for sure. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, what up? What up, though? What's going on, Big Money? Says, we staying up top on Sunday. Question mark? I'm not sure. That Ravens defense is different. I can see us going up top on them, though. Why not? Because they going to get aggressive. They're going to come after Jaden because they cocky and arrogant, and they think, oh, we could confuse the young fella, and he might have to show him a little something. He might have to bless him. He might just have to bless them for them to understand what this is. Big dog, I'm ready for all the love the league is going to give us. Up top, Lou, on their head top. Let's go up top on their head top. Top 5, dead or alive, took a couple of seasons to land. It sure did, boy. It sure did, but boy, did it ever. Riddle me this, Lou. MVP? I'm not willing to go that far yet. A lot of people are throwing that around. It's too early for that. Just like it's too early for the P word, it's too early for the MVP conversation. It's too early. I remember a few years ago, Russell Wilson was red hot to start. And, oh, man, he looks like a prime candidate to be the MVP. I'm not sure that man finished in the top 3 of voting that year. A lot of football to be played. Just 2 weeks ago, Josh Allen was playing the best football, arguably, of his career. He wasn't turning over 11 touchdowns, no turnovers, highest completion percentage of his career. The man went 9 of 30 9 of 30 in the game against Houston on Sunday. Worst game of his career probably since his rookie season when he was a little pup. 2 straight losses, both been ugly performances by the Bills. He was just the MVP 2 weeks ago. It changes very rapidly in this league. Nah, I'm not doing that. Too early for that. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. I did think I ate with that name though. That Cleveland pack. Touche. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdallah writes, come on, man. You telling me that name won't catch? It could, but why you want to play on something from Seattle? Like you want to have something that's all your own, right? And like, what does the Legion have to do with Zoom, right? Like the Legion of Boom just hit, it just fit. Like, and look, if this offense keeps up, they're gonna give it a nickname, you know, eventually. I don't think the 98 Vikings had a nickname for their offense. That to me, to this day, it's still the greatest offense that I've ever watched, that I had the most fun watching, was that 98 Vikings offense. Clearly the greatest show on turf. The 07 Patriots were better statistically, but for my money, that 98 Vikings offense, I put them against anybody's. And they didn't have a nickname. The 07 Patriots are the 07 Patriots. They didn't have a nickname on offense. I don't think we need a nickname. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdallah writes, the Golden Horde. Really? Hey, I'm about to mute you, man. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Lou? Andy played 4 tight ends today. Different. Look, man. When you hurting at one position and you loaded at the other, play to your strengths. They got tight ends for days. They went to the Jordy Fortson bag today. They went and they dipped into the Jordy Fortson bag today. That's how deep they are at tight end. They say, hey, we hurting that receiver, hurting that back, but we got a stack of these tight ends. We finna pull them out. That's coaching, man. That's what that is, coaching. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdallah writes, Burgundy Flood. What are you doing, man? Stop it. As Jaden Daniels would say, hey, leave me alone, man. Leave me alone. The Burgundy Flood, really? Oh, man, that's the worst one yet. No, the Golden Horde was the worst one. They're neck and neck, though. They're both bad. Legion of Zoom is the best one, and that one stinks, too. The Black Owl B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, when JJ gets in the driver's seat next season, it's over for the league. We got one of them ones, too. Well, we got to see it first. I liked what I saw in that one preseason game, but we got to see it first. And you can't throw one of them ones around loosely, Black Owl B. You might have yourself one. One of them ones is different. You can't just be putting that tag on anybody. Okay? Understand that. That's reserved for the best of the best in the league. To say you got one of them ones means your dude is top 5. As my guy, Big Money Sonny would say, top 5, dead or alive. That ain't what J.J. McCarthy on. Not right out of the gate. So, we'll see. Just tell Sam to keep the car warm for him. Keep that seat warm for him. Abdullah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdullah, right? Lord Brunson thinks it's the apocalypse the way we plan. Look, man, you could tell he really didn't want to give us any credit, but he had to. And I can respect that. It's tough when we've been down. Like, he really wants it to just be them and the Cowboys. Here's the problem. It ain't. It was a lot easier when you didn't have to worry about Washington and the Giants. When you just had to worry about, can we beat Dallas once? Split with the Cowboys. We'll take care of the rest of our schedule, and we'll win the division. It was a lot easier when it was just that. Life was simple. Sweep the Commanders, sweep the Giants, split with Dallas. You 5-1 in the division. Now go win 6 games outside of the division, and you 11-6. You win 7 games outside the division. You 12-5. Right? Life was so simple. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Can it be that it was all? Can it be that it was all? Can it be that it was all so simple then? It ain't simple no more. We didn't change the game. You got to pay attention to us. It ain't just you and Dallas no more. We didn't crash the party, got there early. Now you got to deal with us. And that's hard to stomach, especially when you realize shit's changing and it ain't changing in your favor, and we taking over the joint. There was a discussion about whose quarterback was the best. We got the best quarterback now. He had ski mask. We done took the ski mask and the gun from him. We run that shit with our GM now. Shit's changing, and it's uncomfortable. I like it a lot. Just Andre, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Just Andre writes, I'm still one of those fans waiting for the other shoe to drop. I read your comment on the show today. I want to be wrong, but I'm scarred. I've been a fan for 14 years. You're not alone. You're not the only person that feels that way. That's why that reporter asked that question to Dan Quinn today. Like, it's still a lot of fans who, like, they dip their toe in the pool and they're like, man, that water feels great. But they like, man, I can't jump in. I did it before. And the last time I jumped in, my trunks fell all the way down and everybody was pointing and laughing at me. I can't do this shit again. And you're not alone, bro. You want to jump in the pool, man. The water's nice. I'm in. I'm skinny dipping. This shit is great. Come on, jump in. Right? I got my trunks back on, though. But come on, man. Jump in. We having a blast. And you like, nah, I got to wait, man. Y'all go ahead, though. I'll be in there later. If everything works out, I'll be in there later. And I get it. It's hard to undo. In your case, 14 years. For some people, 20 years. For others, 25, 30 years of abuse, misfortune, and disappointment. It's hard to undo that in 5 weeks. I get it. I get it. Abdullah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdullah writes, Burgundy Barons, damn, too creative right now. All right, I'm done. That sound like we stealing something. The Burgundy Barons sound like we stealing some shit. Oh, man. Amero Delcet, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Amero writes, Lou, on my last chat, I said I'm tired of hearing shit from the league, but I'm all in with my team. I've been all in since 2005, HTTR. Tell you what, most of what you've heard has been positive. There's some haters out there. I think you're going to see a lot of hate from Ravens fans this week because there's been a lot of comparisons to Lamar Jackson. I'm going to be honest with you. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's better. But y'all ain't hear that from me, though. Lamar is one of the most dynamic playmakers we've ever seen. And I don't know if Jaden will ever be a playmaker on that level. But I guarantee you, you poll all 32 owners in the NFL anonymously, or excuse me, GMs, not owners, all 32 GMs anonymously, and they want the guy that can play from the pocket consistently more than the playmaker. Playmaking is cool, but at the end of the day, you still got to be able to deliver from the pocket. And Lamar is inconsistent from the pocket. For as good as Lamar can be, and Lamar's best, we've seen it. 2 MVPs. They don't just give those to anybody. 2 of them things. Not 1, 2 of them things. But we've also seen Lamar struggle at times from the pocket. And while Jaden isn't as dynamic with his legs as Lamar is, his dynamic ability with his legs is plenty good. Plenty good. Trust me. We've watched it already. We know. So you'll see a lot of hate from Ravens fans because it's supposed to only be one dynamic dual threat quarterback, and you can't have another one. And this is where you're going to get a lot of the hurt feelings. You heard what I just said. Jaden's better. They don't want to hear that shit. They don't believe it. They shouldn't believe it. That's their guy. But he's our guy. And I've seen him make more big-time throws than Lamar Jackson has in his career. I've seen him do that in 4 games already. Lamar Jackson's never made a throw to the one that we saw to Terry McLaurin in the Bengals game. He's never done that in his career. And I'm pretty sure he's got some pretty good throws in his career. He's never had one like that. I assure you. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he's got one like the 66-yarder we saw to Terry. He's got one of those somewhere in there. I'm pretty sure he's got one of those. But I've seen Lamar miss so many deep balls and just overshoot guys not even close on a deep ball. Like, Lamar's deep ball isn't good. That's a problem because, to me, if you're going to be an elite, upper echelon, upper crust at the quarterback position, you can't miss the deep ball. I've always said that's one of the separators. It's hard to hit big plays in this league. So when you get it, you see Joe Burrow, when we played him, the minute he got one-on-one, Joe did not miss, and those were dimes. I'm talking about those were dots. Walking up, handing it to him. You make that kind of mistake, you pay for that mistake when you're talking about one of them ones. And Lamar's one of them ones, don't get it twisted, but there's levels to this shit. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So, again, you're going to hear a lot of hate from Ravens fans this week because they don't want to admit, just like the Eagles fans don't want to admit, our guy's better than theirs. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Cowboys fans pushing back. Dak had a great game outside of the 2 interceptions. You can't say outside of the interception and the fumble. 2 interceptions, excuse me, and the fumble. You can't say he had a great game outside of those. He turned it over 3 times. That's a big effing deal. But when they needed it the most, he came up clutch and he made plays, right? But they not trying to hear after 5 games, your guy's better than mine. Man, you better get out my face with that shit. Truth hurts. Truth hurts. And I don't mind being the one to hurt somebody's feelings. I'll be the delivery man. Hand it to me. I'll take it to Cowboys fans. I'll take it to Eagles fans. I'll take it to Ravens fans. You know I don't give a shit. I hurt your feelings quick. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Big Money Sonny writes, Lou, you already know I crashed out on NFL shot. Yeah, you told me for the 12 hundo against the Bengals. Sunday's going to be different. The rest of their season. Let's get it, Lou. It's going to be a massive game. This one's going to be hyped up. Wait till we get to Wednesday. Like, I'm not turning the page. A lot of y'all have already. I'm still celebrating Sunday's victory. Like, they're so hard to come by, and I enjoy them. I don't turn my attention to the next team until we get to Wednesday. So I'm still enjoying the Cleveland thrashing, or as a wise woman once said to me, the sound beating that we delivered to the Browns. I got one more day to live that up, and then it's time to turn that attention to Baltimore and get busy on the battle of the Beltway. And once that hype train starts for Wednesday, that shit is not going to stop until kickoff on Sunday. And whether we win or lose, that shit's going to be everywhere because it's going to be the first game. Now, if it's not a good game, then that's the wow, 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 wow. And for all the hype, our shit gets deflated. If we don't come out and play and Baltimore destroys us, then all of the respect that we gained, I'm still going to feel the same about us before the game, right? The only thing that can change my mind is if we go beat them. That'll make me feel even stronger about this team. But no matter how we lose, I'm still going to think, hey, we one of the best teams in the NFC. Lamar Jackson is like 22-1 against the NFC. You know who his one loss is against? You'll never guess. You'll never guess. Guess. And don't cheat. Who's his one NFC loss to? Y'all cheating right now. Anyway. Yeah, y'all cheated. Casper, you cheated. Raphael, you cheated. All of y'all cheated. Y'all ain't know that shit. Giants beat them in 2022. That's the only loss he has against the NFC. He kills the NFC. Not the NFC East. He kills the entire conference. Man, I'm trying to put a dent in that shit, man. Put a blemish on that thing. Trying to get me one. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdallah writes, this name crap is hard, man. Give me some credit. You still talking about that? You want that credit bad, don't you? You see how hard it is? Now imagine trying to rename the team and think about how hard it was for them to do that. All right. Hey, Big Buddy Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Buddy Sonny writes, where them smoked Newports at, Lou? You had them weak that last time. You stay calling that man smoke Newports. You stupid. Daniel Jones hater. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Louie, DJ giving me hopes again. I hate it here. I told you this was going to happen. I told you this was going to happen, and y'all told me I was tripping. I said it was going to happen after Hard Knocks. Y'all was going to have an affinity for him. They were going to humanize him. That didn't happen, right? But he's doing it again. He's doing it again. I haven't watched the game. I plan on watching it either tonight or tomorrow. But because I'll have it watched before the podcast tomorrow because we'll be talking about all the games. But I just looked at the box score, before I watched, and I was like, wow. Daniel Dimes. Look at you. Who would have thought? Not me. Not me. Here we go. Right? After that Vikings game in week 1, I was like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. Then we gave him confidence in week 2, like we always do. But I thought it would be short-lived. And then the next week against Dallas, he did the same thing. I went, huh. Interesting. Or actually, against the Browns. I think he did the same thing against the Browns. Won that game. And then he lost to Dallas. But he played well. I thought the criticism of him was harsh. Yeah, he missed some deep balls. But guys could have made catches on balls that were there. And that game, the outcome of that game could have been totally different. And then he goes to Seattle. You know what? I think the Giants like playing in Seattle because I'm not mistaken. You went to Seattle in 2022. And I think you beat them then too. I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that. I feel confident that you went there and beat them. They got you back in, 2022. 3, obviously they got you back last year with the pick 6 of Daniel Jones at the goal line by Witherspoon, and he got sacked like 12 times. But I also remember a game you lost with Colt McCoy at quarterback, but I think y'all got him in 2022. I think I could be wrong, but hey, you hate it there. I love it there. I said this on the Super Friends stream, and Bad Dog told me I was wrong. I said the Giants are the most conflicted fan base. They don't know what they want. Most want a new quarterback. I think most Giants fans agree they need an upgrade. But they don't want to go through, and I said this to Commanders fans last year. A lot of y'all want the new shiny item, but you're not willing to go through what it takes to get it. You want to cheat. You want to have a good season and then trade up. So you want your cake and you want to eat it too. It don't work like that a lot of times. You got to suck. You got to take the hurt, the sting of being one of the worst teams in football to get what you want. And Giants fans, I don't think they want that because they want to win. Who doesn't want to win? He's going to play just well enough that you're the 18th pick in the draft. You'll win 7 or 8 games this year. If you win 7, you'll be the 14th pick. If you win 8, you'll be the 18th pick in the draft. No, that's too high. If you win 8, you'll be the 16th pick in the draft. If you win 7, you'll be the 12th pick in the draft. And you'll be out of the range of any of the quarterbacks that you so desire. So I know why you hate it there. Hang in there, though. Ding! Amero Delcit. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Amero writes, we got no Lamar. We got JD5. He's coming. Yeah, we don't have another Lamar. Lamar is a one of one. And I don't want another Lamar. We got JD5. That's what I want. That's what I'm excited about. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, JD5 is the real truth, Lou. Indeed, he is. Bring him out. Bring him out. It's hard to yell with the barrels in your mouth. Woo! That's JD5's homeboy. Watch. Telling you right now, man. That dude is different. He's different. So glad he plays for our team. So glad he's on our side. Because he's going to be a problem for the next 15 years, man. I'm just glad he plays for the good guys. And he's got the right people around him. So we can't F this up. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdallah writes, all right, just one more. Burgundy Storm or Four Horsemen. I'm a genius. Why would it be the Four Horsemen? So you got JD, you got Terry, B-Rob, and who? Eck? Who's the fourth guy? I mean, you can't name it the Four Horsemen, and Eck is signed a 2-year deal and might not be here after 2 years. Burgundy Storm? Oh, Abdallah, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Burgundy Storm? That sounds like a college football nickname. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy. Big Money Sonny writes, Giants look nice right now, though. They still got dimes. 1 and 2 in the division this year. We running this ish, Lou. Shout out to Bad Dog. I mean, you know, somebody said, you know, it was crazy. Now, he was off his rocker during his NFC East Super Friends, but somebody said he had Giants and Commanders finishing 1 and 2, and he had the Giants eking out the Commanders for the division crown because of their coaching staff. And I was like, don't really see that, but okay. I like your optimism. So, maybe the Giants are look, man, they caught lightning in a bottle in 2022. Maybe they can do it again. Maybe they can do it again. I got to look at their schedule again. I I don't care enough right now. They're 2-3. They got to get back to 500 before I can start looking at their schedule and respecting who they are. Got to be at 500 first. But I'll take a look at it after I watch this game. I'll take I'll see what they got. Cincinnati, and it's on primetime, right? So everybody will watch. Do it on a primetime stage. I got a feeling they're gonna do the Justin Fields Steelers thing and not show up. Defense was outstanding against Seattle. Look, the Bengals defense stinks. Daniel Jones should be able to carve those boys up. Theoretically speaking, of course. We'll see. That defense was lights out against Seattle. We'll see, because Joseph is throwing that thing. It ain't the offense that's holding back Cincinnati right now. So we'll see. We'll see. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdallah writes, Abdallah, you smoking them tweeds? Craig's dad voice Friday. And stop slamming my goddamn door. Divine do care. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Louie the streak breakers. That Lamar NFC streak coming to an end. I'm ready. If you ready, I'm ready. Like, at some point, I mean, it ain't like he ain't never lost, but 22-1 that's nasty work. That's crazy. It's time for another loss, bruh. Yeah. And I think we the only ones that can do it. Dallas ain't do it. Philly ain't gonna do it. The Giants did it once. Could they do it again? Sure. Highly unlikely, though. We got to do it. And I don't mind going into the Ravens' nest to do it. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, wildest thing I heard this week, Lou. Y'all the Commanders with a hard R. What the F? You gonna hear a lot of shit because a lot of people ain't used to saying Commanders. Like, our name don't normally come out of other people's mouth. For what? Who are you? The Commanders. Like, that might have been the thing that we got the most notoriety for, is the damn left hand shit. Nobody was talking about us. For what? It's still a lot of fan bases that don't know what we out here doing. I told you how disrespectful the Cleveland Browns fans were going into the game, talking about it's must win and, this is still the soft part of their schedule. And I'm like, you clearly aren't paying attention. It's just a college offense. They don't ask him to do much. Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator, right? Yeah, it's a little cute college offense. They find it out one by one, though. One by one. They leaving here with a totally different attitude. Anyway, I digress. This stream was brought to you by BetUS, and I want to give them a big shout out real quick before we get out of here. BetUS has been so good to the LouieTeeNetwork, and I've had a lot of fun talking, to the degenerates out there, the gambling degenerates out there. I've had a lot of fun talking to you, and I had a lot of fun looking at these numbers. And again, it can be more than just fun. You can make some money, but if you're going to bet responsibly and bet with BetUS. Go to betus.com. Use the promo code YouTube150 to get you 150% sign-up bonus on up to $2,000 deposit, the first deposit, and then the next two deposits up to 125 or 125% sign-up bonus. So go over to betus.com, use the promo code YouTube150. You won't be sorry. And bet responsibly, and only bet what you can afford to lose. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Monday Night Football overtime. Big shout out to Malo. Malo has won the 2024, or as I like to say, the 12th annual Soul Survivor Pool. I've never seen a Survivor Pool end in 5 weeks. Incredible work. Malo won $1,500 tonight when the Kansas City Chiefs got it done. We were down to two survivors, and the Seattle Seahawks lost and the Chiefs won, and thus Malo is the sole survivor. So shout out to Malo. We'll talk more about that tomorrow on the kickback session, but Malo got it done. $1,500 is coming your way, my guy. Congratulations for the Dubski. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I've been bumping that left hand up and I'm an old head. DC Go-Go from the marching band is still here, Lou. Oh, that'll never go away. That's a staple of the DMV. That's always going to be a thing. But that left hand up, who are we? That'll never be a thing for me. Sorry. I won't knock the next man, though, and I can't knock the hustle. I love it. I'm glad that they got notoriety and all of that good stuff, but nah, I'm good. I'm good. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdallah writes, the code breakers, because we broke the code for this damn franchise curse. And on that note right there, we getting the hell out of here before Abdallah comes up with another horrible name idea. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. Chiefs double up the Saints, remain undefeated with a 26-13 victory on Monday Night Football. Saints, after the red-hot start, 2-0, 91 points through the first 2 weeks, have now lost 3 consecutive games. Derek Carr leaves this game with an injury. Don't know the severity of it to this point, but on a short week, will he be ready for a massive showdown with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers within the division next week? We will see. But the Saints are struggling, and that is an understatement to say the least, as the Chiefs head into their bye week at 5-0 and did it in impressive fashion despite mistakes, turnover, missed field goal, etc. Still managed to put up over 430 yards of total offense in this game. Mahomes over 330 yards passing. Yeah. Kareem Hunt, 100 yards rushing. Defense held the Saints to 0 of 2 on 4th downs, 4 of 11 on 3rd downs. It was another one of those games for the Chiefs. So anyway, I digress. Y'all get out of here. Take care. Look forward to chopping it up with you guys next time. God bless. Good night.
Louie